Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to see about Elasticsearch using Python. Um, what is Elasticsearch? Elasticsearch is a search engine based on Apache Lucene. It works like a tool to store data in a NoSQL database and renders the data using sorting algorithms by keyword search. Um, For this, we are also going to use Flask framework from the Python. I use Flask in this point because Flask is a web development framework that can be used right out of the box. So now that we have spoke about the Elasticsearch and Flask, let's go into the website. Here we have the Elasticsearch tool. We will be downloading here in a zip format. After downloading it, we will be having it in a local environment. In Elasticsearch, we will be having the bin folder and we will be running it by Elasticsearch. And you could also mention names and names for the clusters and nodes, which I'm going to do. Clusters and nodes are tools that use to render our search data. Now that our application has started, it basically runs in 9200 port. So let's go localhost and 1200, and it runs successfully with the name we gave and the cluster name. After we running this, we should create a doc type so that we could store that in the Elasticsearch. So for me, I already have done this. Let me do this. And to search query, we are going to use underscore search. If we misspelled it, it will be wrong. And for this, we are going to pass a query. For now, let me say search topics related to day, and it returns over 9 total topics which has data in the name, search data in the name of day. And we could also set the limit for our data, like if we could say the size equal to 9000, and we will get mostly 9000 data from this search. Now that we have seen the API version, let's bring it into Python. Let's start a virtual environment, and I will name it Flask. You should spell it correctly. Now that we have created a virtual environment, let's go into the virtual environment. And let's activate it. Now we are inside the virtual environment, and let's download Flask for our virtual environment. Our virtual environment has Flask, and also let's make a folder inside a virtual environment. Let's say Elasticsearch, and let's cd into our project. Now we are going to edit the code in Python, so we will be opening the Elasticsearch folder. Now inside Elasticsearch, let's create a project. Let's create a file. Let's name it app. Into the project, let's import the Flask items. For now it will be okay. After that, let's configure our app. For example, let's say app is equal to Flask, and now that we have called the app instance, let's pass name for our application, and after that let's first create a condition. Now that we have mentioned this, let's create a function. This is the root page, and let's say index, and let's return a template, and we will create a template now. And we'll pass the name of the template. Now that we have done all the basic steps, let's just do a last few steps. Let's say debug is equal to true and port equal to 8000, so that our app runs in 8000. Now let's run our app. and our app is running successfully. Alright. You might have misspelled the. Alright. You have to create a folder named templates. And we have to render the index HTML from there. It works. Alright. Now the index.html is going to be a static template. So I am going to pass the screen and fill this part here. Then later let's discuss what I have implemented here. Here what I did was I am redirecting this method back to the root location, and this time I am passing a query, let's say get, and we will be submitting it. In here in app.route, let's say methods equal to post and get. Now if we get a value now that if we get the value from the index, the queue, then we have to pass it here. For that we are going to use the request. If we'll passing this value here. Now after getting the value, we will be displaying it here. Now if we run that, we will be having a search form, and if I type anything, we will be having it in a query. Let's change it to post method, and if get method it would be request args.get. For post method it would be form.get. Okay. The page is reloading, but we won't see that. This is the basic Django skeleton for our project, and it comes right out of the box. After this, let's implement Elasticsearch into our project. Let's exit and let's install. Now we have Elasticsearch into our project. Let's import it. And let's configure it. Let's say yes equal to Elasticsearch. Now that we have got the instance, let's run it. And we're going to be saying dot. This basically is a search function for the Elasticsearch, and the parameters we are going to pass are from the documentation. Search the index, like I already said, the index is this part of the URL. And dot type is going to be string, and finally the search query finally the body is going to be in a DSL format, so we are going to use it from here. And the name is going to be Q, and we are going to pass the response. And the index.html, we are going to print the response. Alright. Let's reload the page. Oh, since we installed Elasticsearch, we again have to start the server. Alright, let's reload the page and let's pass in a query. Let's say day, and we get a response from the Elasticsearch in the fraction of time. Now let's format the response. Let it be this way. This is the root, the hits, and we are going to iterate through this. So and we will be displaying a ordered list. And inside the list we'll be saying this dot name, URL, and let's remove this. Now let's run it again. Okay. Alright, there is another, actually there is another root inside. Actually inside the hits there would be source and users, and there our data would be inside that. So let's say let's copy that. Alright, now let's try that again. Yeah, we get the response. Actually the record is been iterated through nearly 3000 records, and it brings the data in a fraction of a second. Now that we have seen how to get the data, let's see how to insert data into the Elasticsearch MySQL database. There are actually two types of approaches. One, we can pass it through the API. Here, if we pass it in a query string, and it will be like doing in a front end, like front end frameworks doing, getting the URL and posting the data. In other approach, there is a module for Elasticsearch submit, and we'll be using that part of the Elastic code module, Elasticsearch module. For now, let's say app.route, and the route is going to be, let's say, API, and let's call API function. Name of the function is API, and let's just say that we get the data and the data will be, let's just say, let's complete the MySQL part of the code. So let's install MySQL module. Pip install Flask MySQL DB. And it was successfully installed. Now let's import that. And let's just pass the MySQL instance to DB variable. And also, before configuring it, let's pass few of the variables like credentials of the MySQL database to the Flask for the connection, more like a connection string. So it would be like this. The app config MySQL host would be the host name, username, password, and the database name, and the cursor class would be the format of data we get in response. We will see in detail in further video. Now after that, we will be calling the DB instance, and we will be saying unit app, and we will be passing app. Now after that, in the API part, let's query let's get the cursor, and let's pass in the query. And finally we will be fetching all from the cursor. Now actually this is not the method.